This is CBS Sports HQ on a Power Rankings Tuesday. I'm Chris Hassel with Pete Prisco's brand new Power Rankings right here. The Eagles started the month of October ranked number 1, then they lost. Then it was the Lions, then they lost. Then it was the Bucks. They lost this past week. So for the 4th straight week, a different team on top. And it's the Colts who started the season 26th in Pete Prisco's Power Rankings. Yeah. The Chiefs, the biggest riser, up 9 spots to number 2 after that 31-0 shutout of the Raiders. Bucks down 4 to 5. Steelers, the biggest faller. They go from 4 all the way to 15. As we look at the top 3 tiers, the new number 1, and then there we are with pretty much the same teams occupying that second tier that we've seen the last several weeks into that playoffs loading. The Steelers barely hanging on. Here come the Bears, up to 13 on a 4-game winning streak as they get set to play the Ravens. Joined now by Pete Prisco and Leger Douzable, and we start at number 1. The team that got Pete to eat his own words over the weekend. Pete crumbling up his piece of paper and we put hot sauce
on it. Yeah.
Do it again. Let me see it.
No, I'm not going to do it again.
How did it taste?
Like very hot,
like
and
crow?
Dry.
Because you've been saying just Daniel Jones, he'll turn into a pumpkin. They're not that good. Then they beat the Chargers by 14 in LA.
And dominated that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up a lot of passing yards, but they were like a lot of garbage yards.
Yeah.
They look great, and I got to give it to them. I'm still concerned a little bit about the secondary at times. They struggle with coverages, but they'll get that fixed. They can rush the passer. But the biggest thing is the offensive line. That group opens up holes for Jonathan Taylor. They protect the quarterback, makes it easy on Daniel Jones. They have weapons on the outside. He knows how to get the ball to guys. Shane Steichen calls a great game. Shane Steichen, by the way, right now is the coach of the year. Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones are both in the MVP conversation. And I think where this team is right now, think about that. Most points since 1964. I was 4 years old then. That was Johnny Unitas, if I'm not mistaken. And Peyton Manning. That's funny. Peyton Manning never did it. That tells you how good this offense is.
Who were you talking to, Pete? You said that's funny.
Because Jack said I was 40 years old.
Oh, you didn't hear
Jack.
In the words
Are they your number 1 team?
They are. And me and Pete have been having this conversation. He was like, I just need to see a little bit more. I need to see a little bit more. But in the words of the great Johnny Drama of Entourage, victory! I'm proud of you, Pete. You put him at number 1 where they deserve to be.
You went Entourage.
I did. You put him at number 1 because I get it, Pete. You were wondering if Daniel Jones would revert back to who he was. And you were talking about the lack of teams that they played as far as the quality of the wins they were having. The thing that resonated with me was the film work and what I saw from Daniel Jones. And that's why I thought this team could be real contenders in the NFL. You talked about it. It all starts up front. We always talk about it. It starts in the trenches. And they have one of the better offensive lines. Physical. Quentin Nelson is playing at an all-pro level. I mean, the dominance and the quickness he gets off the football and how he is in his technique and how physically dominating he is. And you talked about the holes they open up for Jonathan Taylor. You're right. Both of these guys should be in the MVP conversation. It seems like every week Jonathan Taylor gets 3 touchdowns, right? Back-to-back weeks, he leads the NFL with 11 total touchdowns. And you see it right there. Most games with 3 rush touchdowns in the first 7 games. He already has 3 this year. We're not even halfway through the year.
NFL record is 5. He might get there.
He might get there in the next 2 or 3 weeks, the way this team is playing. And Daniel Jones is just so efficient with the football. He knows exactly where to go. I love, Pete, that you brought up Shane Steichen because his inventiveness in this offense, right? That touchdown pass to Michael Pittman, I don't even think the defense realized he was at the tight end position, at the yo position, and they bring him back across the formation. He's wide open to the flat. One of Jonathan Taylor's touchdowns, he was at receiver, and they motioned him on a speed sweep just to get the out-leverage the defense. Like Shane Steichen, you're right, is in his bag as a play caller. The pass rush is starting to come around. I know you got some concerns about the secondary. Charvarius Ward, hopefully he can come back from that concussion. I think that will solidify that back end.
Strength of schedule isn't going to improve this week. They've got the Tennessee Titans, but they should stay number 1 in the power rankings.
It gets tougher down.
It does down the stretch.
I mean, so far they've benefited from a relatively light schedule. It gets tougher down the stretch.
Maybe we'll finally have a team with staying power here at the number 1 spot in the month of October with the Colts.
They'll be there next week.
You sure about that, Pete?
Positive about that.
All right, let's move down to the Seattle Seahawks at number 7. They are part of a 3-way tie at 5-2 in that division, the NFC West. Pete, why are they your highest ranked team just ahead of the Rams?
The defense. I mean, that defense is really, really good. They can get after the quarterback. And they still haven't been healthy on the back end. That's the amazing thing about it. And they still can get after the quarterback. They're physical up front. Byron Murphy's playing great football at defensive tackle. They can attack off the edges with their rushers. The linebackers are okay. They're not great. But the secondary, when they get those guys back, they're all going to be special back there as a group. So I really like what they. And then we have Sam Darnold on the other side. Bombs away, bombs away, bombs away. I mean, that's what he does. I will say this. Just be smarter at the end of games, please. What the hell were you doing at the end of the game against the Texans? I mean, my gosh, you're winning by 15 and you're throwing passes. Why? What's the point of it? Other than that, though, I love what they've done so far. They're legitimate. They really are.
They are real contenders, not only to win the NFC West, but maybe to make a Super Bowl run. And it's because the way that Clint Kubiak and Sam Darnold and that marriage has worked together, they use bigger personnel groups to take shots down the field, which means you have to match up with your linebackers. We just saw the stat right there. Jackson Smith and Jigba leads the league in receiving yards. The guy behind him is nearly 200 yards behind him. He's on a historic pace to have a historic record-setting type year. I don't want to jig him, so I don't even want to talk about it. But he has gone into that tier as a top 5 receiver. The way he's able to tempo,
no doubt.
The way he's able to tempo his routes to set up to like guys, he understands leverage and knows how to just get open. And that combination between him and Sam Darnold is one of the best combinations in football. And Pete, you talked about the defense. That's why I knew this team would be good. Now, I worried about their offense, but their defense, Mike McDonald, how multiple he is, the way he moves pieces around. You talked about the linebackers, and Drake Thomas, let me just send a message to you. Yeah. Cross the goal line with the football.
Right.
Stop playing. How many times have we seen guys get the ball knocked out of their hands right at the goal? If you score right there, it's 21-0, the game is over. Right? You kept them in the game by playing around and not getting across the goal line. But what I love is that he's moved Eman Rory to linebacker in passing situations. So, yes, they've had some struggles at linebacker, but he fills that void as far as being an athletic, bigger body safety that can play the linebacker. Exactly. You can move him all around. And like you said, Julian Love hasn't been there the last couple weeks, so they're not even 100% healthy. So their defense is playing at a high level, and they're missing like 2 or 3 key pieces. This team is only going to get better as the season progresses.
But they got to run the ball. You have to run. Look, it's nice to be able to hit those shots down the field. I love what they do. They max protect and take shots, which is great. But you got to be able to run the ball. And when you have a lead, run the ball.
I will say this: they still have the attempts, right? They haven't been successful running, but that sets up the play action because they stick with the run. And for the life of me, I don't know why Kenneth Walker III isn't getting the main touches.
But I think they're getting in love and falling in love with the deep ball passing game, which you can't do that when you have a lead. You just can't.
And stop the trick plays while you're up too.
I mean, that was a stupid call, and so was throwing it late when they had a 15-point lead.
And the weather will start deteriorating here as we head toward November and December as well. Let's move to the third tier where we find the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles, who snapped a 2-game skid. And Pete, it wasn't with Saquon Barkley in the running game. It was Jalen Hurts with a perfect passer rating.
And happy receivers. Did you see how happy those guys
they were?
I mean, they were just skipping off the field. It's amazing how happy they are when they get the football. They didn't care if they won the game or not. They got the football. They're happy as can be. No, it was nice to see the Eagles throw the ball and throw it successfully.
Yeah.
But having said that, you know what your identity is, Philadelphia. Your identity is Saquon Barkley. He's got to become more of a factor in the run game because everything they do is off of that run game. And so I know they didn't do it last week because Isaiah Rodgers was so bad it was easy to have success in the passing game. But I think they need to get back to being Barkley running the football, setting up the pass. This is not a pass-first team. It's a run-first team. The line hasn't been as good. He hasn't been as good. They need to get to that, and I think they will. They're going to move into that direction.
Well, that's the question mark because we've been talking about it. This offensive line was touted as the #1 offensive line in football, but they haven't played up to that standard. So when you watch the tape and when it comes to run blocking, they haven't moved guys off the ball as consistently as they did last year. And what I really love is how they came out in the game. They ran the ball 3 straight times. I was like, okay, maybe they're going to be a little bit more balanced. But like you said, they put the game in Jalen Hurts' hands, and his receivers were happy. It's always interesting and funny, right? When you get the ball to your best playmakers, good things usually tend to happen. A.J. Brown, he finds him on an off platform on 4th and 4 on a go route. He finds the Slim Reaper on a post route. You talked about Isaiah Rodgers really struggled yesterday, found him in 1-on-1 coverage. And Jalen Hurts was efficient. And the thing that I really love, Pete, he was more decisive with the ball. And even when he did hold the ball, he got outside the pocket and used his mobility to throw the ball down the field. So we need to see them continue to do that. I do agree with Pete. You have to run the ball more effectively. But if you're the Eagles, you have to be happy how your quarterback played because he's been under so much scrutiny the last couple of weeks.
You know, A.J. A.J. Brown complains and all the focus is on him. It's nice to see Devontae Smith get the ball, too.
For 180 on him.
I mean, it's unreal. Get him the football, too. He's a big part of what they need to do in the passing game.
They are one of 8 teams in the NFL sitting at 5-2 right now. 6 of those teams in the NFC. But the lowest ranked of those 5-2 teams continues to be the San Francisco 49ers, who somehow continue to win despite all those injuries and even more injuries this week.
It's incredible when you think of the job that they've done with this group. I mean, and I say it all the time. They had 6 stars going into the season, and 3 of them aren't playing, if you count Purdy.
Yeah.
And so Purdy's not playing. Warner's out for the year. Bosa's out for the year. And yet here they are against a good Falcons team, and they handled them because of Christian McCaffrey.
Correct.
The guy was special that night, and they ran the football, and they got him in the passing game, and he can do so many different things, and that's what they have to rely on. What they do the rest of the way, if they make the postseason, will be a tribute to 2 things. Christian McCaffrey as a back, and a special back, an air back, a guy who can do so many different things, and Kyle Shanahan. The guy can scheme up plays. He's a great play caller and a great guy that knows how to get the ball into his playmakers' hands and knows how to take advantage of the defense. If this team is in the playoffs with everything they've gone through, it's a testament to those 2. Now, getting Brock Purdy back, when they do get him back, will be big. Mac Jones has done a nice job, don't get me wrong, but they need Purdy back in that lineup.
Are you worried about the touches that Christian McCaffrey's getting? Because I know that's always a concern for you. He's leading, you saw it right there, the league in touches, 185. He's on pace for nearly 450 touches. And he's on pace to go for 1,000 and 1,000, but that's a lot of...
That means he won't do anything next year. You know how that goes.
Well, and that's the thing. He looked like the guy that we saw in 2023 that was dominant with 200 all-purpose yards. I know you said it'll be 2 things, Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan. You got to give some love to my guy, Robert Saleh.
Yes.
The injuries that have occurred on that defense, when you turn on that tape, that defense flies. I literally had to call him after watching tape. I was like, bro, I'm proud of you for how you have these young guys flying around. Like, it's reckless abandon.
Wait, you name drop here?
A little bit, you know what I'm
his
saying? That's
guy.
my guy. Everybody knows that's my guy, though.
All right.
He's done a really good job.
Jack, put me on camera here.
I like that one. But no, how those young guys have flown around, and now they have to deal with another injury because Bryce Huff just went down. So could they be guys that maybe get a little aggressive at the trade deadline and bring in some of those edge guys we talked about?
Phillips
It doesn't seem like it matters who's in on defensive line, linebacker, or corner or safety. He gets the best out of that group.
They play hard.
Flew around versus the Atlanta Falcons.
They play hard.
Man.
Mentioned that 3-way tie atop that division. The other 2 teams are off this week, so the 49ers, if they can win in Houston, would be alone atop the division at 6-2. Pete Prisco's power rankings can be found on the website. We will continue to break these down. Pete can also be seen on Game Day Recap after the late afternoon slate, 8:20 Eastern Time on Sunday, recapping everything that went on earlier in the day. To the mid-tiers we go. Pete, say it. I don't know, Jim. Chargers have fallen into there with another 14-point loss at home. Some teams are climbing their way back up into that, like the Dallas Cowboys, who are in that I don't know, Jim, because they're right there. They can score a bunch of points. And Pete, they're at number 18. If that defense can be serviceable, they are what?
Can be a playoff team.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, you look at the way Dak Prescott is playing football right now. I mean, the man is in the MVP conversation. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for the numbers he's putting up and for where he's playing. And everybody always talks, well, they got the great wide receivers. But even when they didn't have one of them, he was still putting up big numbers.
Correct.
Dak Prescott is playing great football right now, and he deserves to get his flowers. The offensive line, when they get guys back, they're going to be – and by the way, the guys that have stepped in and played have done a nice job.
Well.
And they're going to be good up front. You know they can have good wide receivers. You know the tight end's good. The running game has been effective. This offense is going to score points against anybody. The problem is, are they good enough on defense? And right now they're not. But when they start getting guys back, then it might change a little bit. You'll see them get better. If the corner, if Ravel comes back down the road, the rookie draft pick, if he gets back in there, they're going to be better on defense as well. So I like where this team is headed. I like Schottenheimer as a coach. By the way, there are a lot of people who question Brian Schottenheimer as a coach when he took the job. The man grew up with it, okay? And players like him and respect him. It matters. He's done a good job with this team, and I think they're going to be a threat in the NFC.
To your point, bringing up Shotty, Micah Parsons, while he was going through that contract dilemma, most guys wouldn't even have been at the facility. Out of the respect for Shotty, he showed up. That lets you know he has the ear of the team. going back to this offseason, I know a lot of people were kind of down on the Cowboys. I know me and Pete were like, this is a team that could probably muddle around 9-8, 10-7, maybe sneak into the playoffs. And it was because of this offense. We know Brian Schottenheimer is a great play caller. Go back to his days in Seattle when Russ was cooking there and he was in the MVP conversation. We knew with the two receivers outside, that could really push the ball down the field. To Pete's point, right, we knew that young offensive line would finally gel. They've had some injuries and guys have been in and out of the lineup, but they've been getting it going. Javonte Williams looks like the guy that came out of North Carolina a few years ago. To Pete's point, the question mark is this defense. But they're starting to come alive a little bit with a little bit more pass rush, right, the last few weeks. And let's not forget, DaRon Bland was hurt. He showed up again in a big way Sunday with a pick six. If you're late on the outside of DaRon Bland, he's taking it the other way. They played without Trayvon Diggs, so you hope he can get back maybe before the bye. If not 2 more weeks, they get him after the bye.
Overshot on the back.
Exactly. They could maybe make a run. So this offense is playing at an elite level, and I know a lot of Dallas fans got at me because I didn't put Dak in my top 5 when they were 2-3, and it's like it's hard for me to put a quarterback in the MVP category with a losing record. But he's definitely in there after what he just did Sunday, and if he continues to do that and they keep stacking wins, there's a good chance he wins the MVP by the way he's playing this year.
Oh, by the way, did you see that graphic? One of those guys on there isn't as good as the rest of them. You could see that one.
Who? Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
He was on top.
Did you see the other guys' names on that list, though?
Who?
Here you go.
Oh, Hall of Famers.
They're all Hall of Famers.
Yeah, one of them. Well, and
I would say the way Dak's playing, if he gets a ring, man, he's got a good chance to get in
Dak's
there too,
playing
man.
great football right now.
Cowboys with a chance to get over 500. They're at Denver Sunday on CBS. Down a couple spots to Pete's Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mine.
Your chief pom-pom
Mayor of Duval, man.
Jags. They had those huge back-to-back wins. You beat the 49ers, you beat the Chiefs, you got it rolling. What happened?
The quarterback's not playing well. And I don't know if they have a quarterback problem. They have major quarterback concerns. And it's not just him, because they lead the league in drops.
Correct.
Everybody drops the ball. The whole thing, the whole group. The only guy that doesn't drop the ball is Travis Hunter. He's the only one. And they finally got him involved, and he's going to start becoming the focal point of the offense, and he should be. Because Brian Thomas has been a major flop. I thought Brian Thomas was going to be one of the 4 or 5 best receivers in the league this year, and he's done absolutely nothing. He doesn't, when he goes across the middle, he drops balls. He doesn't make contested catches very well. But the quarterback needs to get it going now, right now. And I go back to the first play of the game. First play of the game, he's got Travis Hunter wide open. Simple throw. Throw it to him. He doesn't throw it to him, and he ends up getting sacked. Later in the game, they have a holding penalty, and they end up with 2nd and 15. They run corner routes on both sides against cover 2. Pick one. They're both open. Pick one. He checks it down. The ball gets tipped. Now they're in 3rd and 15. They're little things that he's not doing. And there's also a problem with getting in a rhythm when you have a ton of pre-snap penalties, which they've had, because they have guys like Travis Hunter who have a hard time lining up at times because he's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And they have all those drops. So at some point, the quarterback needs to take it on him, bring this group together. This is the most challenging week that Liam Cohen will have as a coach. You're coming off 2 losses. You have a young team. When stuff like this has happened in the past, it's bled in. They've started thinking they were losers again. He's going to be challenged coming off that bye to get that team going again.
Yeah, I know you said there's a Trevor Lawrence issue. I think there's a Trevor Lawrence BTJ issue. Because people forget, and even you talked about this a little bit, when BTJ took off last year, it wasn't with Trevor Lawrence. I think people tend to forget that. It was with Mac Jones. Down the back half of the stretch, all those receiving yards came from Mac Jones. It was never Trevor Lawrence. So even when he was with Trevor Lawrence in the beginning of his rookie year, their combination just hadn't been on the same page, and it's weird for a number 1 receiver and quarterback to not be even in the same atmosphere, right, in regards to knowing what the receivers – there's so many times you see it. Trevor Lawrence is thinking one thing, BTJ is thinking another, and it's like all the reps you guys have had in the offseason, how are you still not on the same page when this is your number 1 guy? Pete also said Travis Hunter has been the only consistent guy on offense. I was one of those guys that said he should play more defense, and they should probably moonlight him on offense. Right now, he's their best offensive player. They need to get him the ball.
He's also their best corner.
But that's the thing. But they're hurting so much on offense. They need him more on the offensive side
they do.
than the defensive side. So, like you said, they finally got him the ball. He went over 100 yards, got into the end zone. I look for them to do that more. And it sucks because, like you said, he probably is their best corner, but they need him significantly more on the offensive side. So, again, I just don't understand how Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. are not on the same page?
Well, a couple things. Somebody made a point to me about this, that last year when he was putting up all those numbers, it was on a bad team in games that didn't matter, where you didn't have the spotlight on you. Now the spotlight's on you. And he took a shot against Pittsburgh in the preseason. I don't know if you remember it, if you can go find it, where he got blasted going across the middle. And there's a lot of theories out there that he doesn't like to go over the middle anymore. And if you're a receiver, you don't like going over the middle. By the way, if you ever want to get entertained by all that kind of thing, a receiver getting called out, Jimmy Smith, former Hall of Famer, or not former Jaguar Hall of Famer, and a guy who's maybe borderline Hall of Famer. He's still up for it this year. Go on his Twitter account and see what he says about Brian Thomas.
Oh, yeah? He's saying that he's afraid to go over the middle? Is he the one saying it?
Yeah,
and called him out multiple times.
He's high in his stance. He doesn't come out off his ball. I mean, just on and on and on.
Yeah.
All right, those are the Jacksonville Jaguars who are on a bye this week before the CBS games this upcoming week, Week 8. Check out the NFL Today Plus from 10 a.m. Eastern to noon, leading into the NFL Today Plus is exclusively on HQ and Paramount Plus. All right, we've hit the bottom of Pete Prisco's power rankings. There's down bad and there's dumpster fire. Boy, Dolphins and Jets, same division. We're going to hit on those two teams in just a second, but we're going to lump a couple of other teams together. The Raiders and the Giants, because they both had horrific Sundays. What's worse, blowing a 19-point fourth quarter lead when you had the game won, or getting shut out 31-0 by a rival?
As a player, what would you rather do?
I hate losing, period. But losing when you're up 19 is awful. And the thing is, it wasn't that they were up 19-0. The defense gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter. I don't think that's talked about enough.
And the drive after the offense scored what should have been the game-winning touchdown.
Correct, right? And it was 30 seconds. That's it, right? 30 seconds, I believe, no timeouts.
No.
Right? They gave up 2 completions, and you heard Brian Burns. He was clearly upset because they went drop 8 coverage, which means they were only rushing 3, which gives the quarterback all day.
I hate that.
And the receivers to get.
I'm with Brian Burns.
As a defensive lineman, I hated when coaches did that, because you cannot allow a quarterback to sit back there and allow routes to develop down the field, because guys can only cover but for so long. But you cannot give up 33 points in the fourth quarter. Yes, Jackson Dart had an inexcusable interception. That would be a learning curve for that young player. He has to understand we're up 2 scores. Sometimes the defense has your number. Just take the sack, let the clock bleed out, punt the football away. And that really is that was the spark that really helped with the comeback for the Denver Broncos. But I don't put this on Jackson Dart. I put it on the defense. 33 points in the fourth. You see it right there. This is the second largest comeback with 6 minutes or less in the fourth quarter, being down 18 points.
I covered that game in 2003.
The one up top?
Yeah, that was the Monday night game.
That's the Tony Dungy game, right? I remember that.
And late as can be. Peyton was unreal at the end of that game. Look, the bottom line is the Giants can at least go home and realize they have a quarterback. Mm-hmm. The Raiders look in the mirror and they wonder if they do have a quarterback. Geno has been terrible. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. He's been awful. And they went into the season thinking they had their quarterback for the next 3 years.
I did too.
I didn't. I wasn't sure about it. But now I'm convinced, unless he goes on some kind of heater, and he doesn't have his weapons, I'll give him that.
I was going to bring that point up.
He doesn't have Bowers, but he's been bad.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried about the Raiders and the quarterback position more than I am the Giants blowing a lead, because I think the Giants can go home and look in the mirror and say, we got our guy. Because Dart, other than the interception, actually played pretty good against the 85 Bears, the Broncos. and so I think they can take solace in that.
I will say this. You're right. Geno has turned the ball over at a ridiculously high rate. Offensive line is abysmal. He lost his best offensive lineman in Colton Miller. And I felt like in that Chiefs game, he was just timid because he's been turning the football over. You talked about it. Not having Brock Bowers with Chip Kelly and his inventiveness has really hurt Geno Smith. Because we saw it week 1 versus the New England Patriots, the way they were able to move Brock Bowers around. I was like, okay, this is going to be a dangerous team. I don't have them making the playoffs, but they're going to be a tough out week in and week out. But ever since Brock Bowers has been hurt, the offense has just been abysmal. There was one game where Ashton Genty got going. I think it was the Tennessee Titans game. But besides that, they've struggled to get him going. Trey Tucker's probably been the best weapon. Who would have said that going into this season? Nobody. So Geno hasn't had his weapons. But as a quarterback, you have to take care of the football. The ball is everything. At least
get inside the 40. I mean, they didn't even get inside the 40. It was terrible the other day.
Well, they run 30 plays?
I think 40 total.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Gosh. All right, well, I guess it's not as bad as the teams at the very, very bottom.
They're close, though.
Getting there, right? You got the Dolphins, whose only win came against the Jets, and the Jets are the only winless team in the NFL. Those are the bottom two teams in the dumpster fire tier. We did hear from Woody Johnson today, who says that he still believes in first-year coach Aaron Glenn. It's that dreaded vote of confidence. If you look at any head coach with a QB like that, you're going to see similar results across the league. If we could just complete a pass, it would look good.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, Woody.
Okay,
Isn't he responsible for getting those quarterbacks on the team?
In one quote, he just indicted the quarterback and the guy who brought the quarterback in there.
Right.
I mean, that's bad. That's bad. And by the way, when you're a coach and you get a vote of confidence from your owner, usually you're out the door. Oh, yeah. That's usually out the door. The Jets are a mess. You know this as well as anybody. Yeah. Offensively, it doesn't matter who played quarterback. They put Tyrod Taylor in. He had guys open, missed them. He underthrew both of those, and I don't know what he was doing. And then so Fields was terrible. They can't run the ball consistently. The defense is actually
playing well,
better, which is a good sign from that side of the ball because they were terrible early in the season. But this is not a good team right now. It's a disaster.
It's literally been a 180 flip. In the beginning of the year, the offense versus the Pittsburgh Steelers and even at parts versus the Tampa Bay Bucks were actually moving the ball consistently. And the defense really struggled, right, when it comes to tackling and getting off blocks and even creating turnovers. Remember, I believe the London game was the first time they actually created a turnover this whole season versus the Denver Broncos.
That's the only one.
And now it's been flipped. Like, the defense has been dominant at times, and the offense can't do anything. And this was the concern going into the season, and this is why everybody was beating the door down with Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. Get Garrett Wilson some help. Who is the other receiver that you can rely on?
He's not there now.
Well, now and he got hurt because of Justin Fields throwing the ball late, and he hyperextended his knee trying to reach back and get the football. And now they're in that issue where they don't really have any playmakers on the outside. It's Breece Hall or bust, and every team that the Jets play know that. Justin Fields' process is so slow. He throws the ball even slower. And to your point, when Tyrod got in there, and it's tough for a backup to come into the game, but he threw 2 picks, and he missed some receivers as well. But then again, who was the playmaker that you trust as a quarterback?
They were open. He underthrew
So it'll be interesting going forward. After Woody comes out with that statement, I would assume that Tyrod is going to be the starter going forward.
Yeah, and they better do some deep dive on these quarterbacks because they might probably going to end up with the number 1 overall pick and could end up with Fernando Mendoza.
I like Ty Simpson, though.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah.
But not the best year to be looking for a quarterback out of the
They thought it might be,
draft.
but it ain't.
I tried to tell you that, Pete.
They all played like crap.
All right, you can see Pete's entire power rankings and explanation for each and every team and why he ate a piece of paper with hot sauce on it at CBSSports.com. Why is Matt Ryan the only one who gets a chair in this picture? It's a little stool.
The youngest guy, too, huh?
Yeah, right. Come on. NFL Today comes on right after NFL Today Plus on Paramount Plus. It's on CBS Sundays from noon until games kick off at 1 o'clock Eastern Time.